Good evening and welcome to the City of Battle Creek, Michigan and the Battle Creek City Commission meeting for April 18th, 2023. It is 7 o'clock. We welcome you and thank you for being here tonight. We're going to stand for a moment of silence for our invocation, and then we're going to have a pledge of allegiance, and I'm going to ask Commissioner Reynolds to lead us in the pledge. Could you please stand if you could? Commissioner Reynolds.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Reynolds. Next item on our agenda is roll call. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
Commissioner Ballard is noted as absent. Commissioner Lance?
Here.
Commissioner Morris?
Present.
Commissioner O'Donnell?
Here.
Mayor Binky?
Here.
Commissioner Reynolds?
Present.
Commissioner Simmons?
I am here and I'm joining remotely this evening. I am on military duty.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Smith?
Present.
Vice Mayor Sophia?
Here.
Thank you.
Commissioner Simmons, can you disclose your location? Just kidding.
Yeah, I suppose I can. I think I already put it on Facebook. I'm out in Tucson, Arizona, at Davis Monthan Air Force Base, helping our local logistics squadron with some communications support for their annual training.
Thank you for your service. We appreciate you zooming in with us. Next item on our agenda is proclamations and awards. We have a proclamation for Arbor Day 2023, and I think I saw Todd Everson's here. And we have a very special proclamation for a very outstanding individual who will remain unnamed at this period of time. But for the first proclamation, I ask that Todd Everson come forward, and he's going to tell us a little about Arbor Day.
This is the 24th year that the city has been a Tree City USA, and we've been very proud that we have been part of this organization. This next Friday, the 28th, is actually Arbor Day, where we'll be planting trees at full blast with the Kellogg Grow Green team and volunteers from the city, and any other individuals that would like to come from the city are more than welcome to help out. So that's a little background of what Arbor Day is, and thank you.
Todd, I say thank you very much, and I didn't see our camera guy here tonight, so we'll do it like this, and Ted's coming with the picture. Thank you, Ted. Thank you, Todd. Thanks. Thank you, sir. Be good. I'm going to ask Bobby. Holly, would you please come forward? And then I know that we have a lot of people here tonight, but I'm going to ask Bobby to introduce a lot of the people that are here to support him. And I want you to do it in your style, Bobby. And sometimes you sing, sometimes you do some unique cheers for us. You must have hurt your foot. You want me to get a chair? All right. So could you please introduce some of the people and have them come up if they're able to?
Oh, wonderful. That's wonderful. First, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, gets all the praise, glory, and honor. For God is good? All the time? All the time. God bless you. I have quite a few people here tonight. So I'm going to bring them all up? Sure. Okay. First, you got to go with the family. I'd like to bring up my family. Come on up. One will walk something like me a little bit, so don't worry about that. That's my daughter, Carla, Holly. My sister-in-law, Joanne, My wife Bobby, named after me. My other daughter, Kimberly Holly. Now, my brother, Sonny Holly, Motown recording artist. My sister, Lippy, chess recording artist. One of my best friends, been together since we were about 4 years old. Another Motown recording artist, Bruce Richardson. One of the greatest ladies of all times, my coach, his wife, Candace Liebert. That's one of my crew. On my team there, also, Jim Johnston, one of my working crew there, helps with the bikes and everything else. He followed me all the way when I crawled to Marshall. Took us about 2 days. Get there in 10 minutes. A young lady who's been with me for about, close to about 25 years. All the things that we've been through, she started out those things with me by making my signs and so many other things that she's done. Starla Thompson. On the road, all these other kind of things. So many of them. My church crew. God bless you. Tex. Come on up, Tex. From Holy Light Missionary Baptist Church. Another one of my great friends and also pastor is Joe Hooper. Come on up, Pastor Joe Hooper. On my crew with the bikes and all the kind of things we do. The First Temple. Joanne, Allison. That's my niece. Come on up. I want to get these pictures. I want to make sure I got everybody. The other half of the better half, Mrs. Johnston, I know you're taking pictures, but nice to come on up because it wasn't for you, your husband would do a lot of things for me. God bless you. All of my members, all my wonderful folks from New Damascus, come on up. And Pastor Rosin Mathis. See, all these folks here are folks that I don't do nothing by myself alone. You have to have someone else helping you at all times. And that's a blessing. Just coming in the door, one of my nephews, what's his name? Delano Buckner. Come on up. God bless you. I'm just looking, I want to slight anybody here. Then all the rest of you, but God bless you all. If any of my other family members or folks who have worked with me before, God bless you. Thanks for being here so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
We're not done yet, Bobby. You got to hold on. I've called upon Commissioner Morris to help me in reading the special proclamation for Bobby. Bobby, could you stand on my right? And there we go.
Whereas Robert Bobby Holly is a lifelong dedicated resident of Battle Creek who has devoted the past 30 years to fighting crime, violence, drugs, bullying, gun violence, homelessness, and raising help for the disabled. We are honored to show our appreciation for his commitment and tireless efforts to create peace, love, unity, and harmony, not just to our community, but all communities throughout the nation. And whereas he graduated from Battle Creek Central High School and was inducted into the Hall of Fame, class of 2015-16, a stint in the U.S. Army followed from 1966 to 68, where he received the U.S. Army Physical Training Award. Afterwards, he attended Kellogg Community College and further obtained his bachelor's degree in communications with a minor in music from Western Michigan University. He retired from the Battle Creek Federal Center and for the past 17 years has substitute taught in local schools. And whereas, as a former Stax recording artist, he had hits on music charts while touring around the nation with Junior Walker and the All-Stars, Al Green, the OJs, and many more. He is responsible for planning tributes to many local African American recording artists. And whereas he has been instrumental in recognizing those who have helped make history great in Battle Creek. He assisted in renaming streets honoring Helen Montgomery and William E. Boers Jr., as well as a park after Julia V. Milner. He chaired a committee to name the gym floor at Northwestern Middle School Al Liebert Court. And whereas Bobby boldly endures the worst of conditions in his heartfelt pursuit of raising awareness by walking and crawling countless miles. His efforts are tireless in his quest to provide bicycles for children by performing in various locations throughout the city collecting fund donations. It is fitting that we recognize Bobby Holly for his passion in making our community a safer place to live for all. Now, therefore, on behalf of Mark Benke, Mayor of the City of Battle Creek, we do hereby proclaim that Bobby Holly be recognized for his passion and dedication to the Battle Creek community, and that he receive a key to the city in honor of his service.
Now, Bobby told me last summer that he's not stopping, that he's going to slow down a little bit. So I got to think, how can I help Bobby work a little bit harder? And I thought, what if we give him a key to the city of Battle Creek so he can open more doors to our community and help more people? Bobby, on behalf of the people of the city of Battle Creek, I would like to present you a key to the city to help you open more doors, to help more people, fight crime, fight violence, and put an end to all those things too. Bobby, thank you for everything you do. God love you.
Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much. I want to thank the mayor. Not only is the mayor, but one of my good friends and cohorts all through the years. Know about everything I do. Vice Mayor, God bless you.
He's the vice mayor.
Thank you so much for all the things that you do. All the other commissioners, also the law enforcement team. Thank you for watching out over me on the roads and the highways as I'm crawling or walking to Chicago or crawling to Detroit and all those kind of things. I thank you for your steadfast observation of how I'm doing. I appreciate that. Former Mayor Ted Daring. I remember when I was outside in the cold weather and he brought his coat out to me so I can stay warm when I had no clothes on except my gym shorts. God bless you for that. God bless you, man. I really appreciate that. And I don't want to leave nothing out because this is a lifelong thing that might not come about again. I might leave out here. You know, the newspapers, the radio stations, the TV stations, all have been a part of this to get the word out. It started with Joyce Ryan and Shelley from Shopper, and then also Will. And then in Inquirer News, it was Steve Smith and Sonia Bernard Hollins. Now, Grayson Steele and Bill Braddock, they helped me quite a bit on everything. But my favorite man, the guy who really helped me stay beside me, was Trace Christensen. I shared this with Trace. Also Dave Eddy, WCK, and Tim Collins, and all of AccessVision. And the praise goes out to my pastor, J.C. Oliver, and his first lady. God bless you. And Jim Hosmer, state representative. When I had to crawl to Lansing and stuff like that, there were folks up there waiting for me to get there. State Senator Michael Knopf and Jim Hosmer, state representative, and also Snyder, Governor Snyder, and Governor Granholm, and our previous governor. I'm not leaving nobody out here. Family-wise, all my family, when I'm on the way, they're home worried about me. Some of them come out to see me, some don't wish I was out there. But still, I understand. Martin Luther King had to do some of the same things. And they might call me crazy on something, but all my working crew who have been with me throughout all the years, I really appreciate you so much. God bless you. And also, I just want to get this all set here. My working crew, got that ready? All the rights. Oh, Bishop Tino Smith. When I lost all my bicycles and they were stolen last year, Roach Home Improvement and Tino Smith and some others came to the aid and made sure we got more bicycles for those kids. God bless them. And we're having our bicycle, we're doing it all right again this year, and we got a lot of bicycles to give out to the kids this year, so I'm cooperating with Sealy Kia dealers and the Toyota dealers and many, many more. So that's online, and there's plenty of people to help out with that. And I just want to say that all the new bikes for needy kids, 2nd grade through 6th grade, I just want to thank the whole city of Battle Creek for standing up for all of us. It's not about me, but it's about all of us joining together hand in hand and things that we have to do here. One thing that got me upset though, this gun violence. Now I'm giving bicycles out and things like that to help the kids have a whole lot of fun this summer, but we still have to watch out for our youth. And so I'm going back on those campaigns over again to bring more awareness to this gun violence situation. Just as soon as I can, okay? So, Pastor Roslyn, thank you for your prayers and your congregation. Thank you for everything that you do and support me wise. Thank you so much. Tex, J.C. Oliver, Tex is with me all the time right here. Thank you so much, Tex, for helping me out and all the things that we try to do in the city. Pastor Joe Hooper, hoop. Thank you so much for doing all those things like that. My brother, son, everybody here. There's one thing that you haven't seen before. I may be limping. I may be messed up. I may be a cat that can't do too much at all. Don't worry about that. That's the way it goes. But I'll show you something. Love you, babe. That's Mrs. Liebert's wife right here, Candace. But when you get something like this, you think you're old, you think you're done, but you're not, because you can go like this. I'll pay for that tonight. I see clouds of white, clouds of blue, all the things that we can do. And I think to myself, what a wonderful Battle Creek. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Come on in, folks. We'll get a picture. Come on in.
He wants all the family in the picture.
Always on.
He'll call you out.
Yes. Coming closer. Everyone, coming closer. I mean, you, Cassie.
No, I'm great, man. You guys get in there.
Here we go.
Yeah, there you go. Get that key out there.
Here we go, Bobby. Great, thank you.
Here's your envelope, too.
Sure,
Congratulations.
sure.
Well deserved, man. Well deserved. Yes.
Here's your gift. I'll see you around. I'll see you, Captain Columbus.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
How
are you? I'm
doing
fine.
good. Good to see you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby and the Holly family, for everything you do to make our Battle Creek community safer for the people of our community. Thank you. Okay, next item on our agenda is two presentations, and I'm going to call upon our Assistant City Manager to make the introductions. Ted, please.
Thank you, Mayor. So our first presentation, we have Helen Guzzo, who is with us this evening. Helen is the manager for the Calhoun County Senior Services, and she's here to update us a little bit on their activities over the past year and an upcoming expo at Kellogg Arena. Helen?
Thanks, Ted. That's a great warm-up act. Thank you, Bobby, for all you do. Bobby and his crew are great examples of the leadership that older adults provide to our community through their volunteerism. So one of the things Senior Millage does is we celebrate older adults. We recognize all our centenarians, people who are 100 years and older. We have 34 centenarians in Calhoun County that we've identified, and we profile them, and we have a big celebration. So I'm here because once a year we want to report to all our townships and our cities about how we spend your tax dollars. So we're very proud that in August of 2020, Senior Millage was renewed with 82% of the voters saying yes. And that shows that the community trusts what we fund and what we do. So what I gave each of you was our annual report, which shows how we spent $4.1 million. So we helped 6,760 seniors with those tax dollars. So we have 3 staff members. We've got volunteers from our community that help us do word of mouth. We have a Senior Millage Allocation Committee, which is the group of citizens that approve all of our spending. And we have our contractual spending, which funds 21 different services through 9 trusted nonprofit organizations. Most of those organizations are located here in Battle Creek: Community Action, Carrawell Community Services, the Marion Birch Adult Daycare, Guardian. Milestone Senior Services is located in Kalamazoo, but they have a kitchen at the Cool Family Center. So inside the annual report is the different programs and what we spend in each program and the number served. We've spent the most ever and helped the most ever. So our numbers were down in 20 and 21, but we are fully recovered from the COVID pandemic where seniors stayed home and stayed safe. So if you look at our demographics, we served 2,583 seniors in one of our 21 programs. So about 23% of the seniors in Calhoun County receive some service from our program. And so we fund Meals on Wheels. We fund senior transportation. It is a county-wide van service that we run with Community Action. The state provides the vans, and we provide the operating dollars. So I wanted to talk about one of our major events is coming up is the Kellogg Arena is the 2023 Calhoun County Senior Expo, and we expect over 100 vendors, and last year we had 800 seniors. I know we can do better, because in 2019 we had 650 seniors at Marshall Middle School, where we held the senior fair for 10 years, but we recovered from the pandemic. We went bigger. We came to Battle Creek and we got more vendors and a bigger space, so there's more social distancing, and we're going to do it the second time at Kellogg Arena. We appreciate the city opening up the parking structure for our event with no charge to the event. We really appreciate that. And Thursday, May 18th from 9 to 1, I expect all of you to come check it out. You come, you get a free lunch, and you get lots of goodies. So it's designed for older adults to learn about the services in the community. So I have lots of these bookmarks. If you want to give them out, I give you more. We just redid our brochure, which lists our 21 funded programs. And that's an important piece that I have available. And then we're doing something new this year. We're doing a mobile electronics collection. We're looking for people with disabilities and people, seniors who are frail and homebound and can't participate in our electronics collections that the county and the city work together to hold. And so we're looking for seniors that have TVs and other electronics, computers they can't bring to one of our events, and we have a grant from Eagle to go pick them up. And so it's in the Shopper News the last 2 weeks and then next week, and we are looking for seniors who can't participate. So appreciate your support, and if you have a senior that's in trouble or doesn't know where to go, Our office fields those calls all the time, and we work closely with Carewell Services, who is the area agency in aging. 5 of our funded programs are through them. They get the state and local funding, and senior millage through taxpayer dollars makes up the difference. So, thank you.
Helen, thank you very much. Are there any comments? Or yes, Commissioner Jake Smith?
Yeah, thank you for coming tonight, Alan. I just want to say I worked closely with Senior Millage for a time and had the pleasure of being on the committee for a little bit as well too, and this might be one of the best run administrative bodies I've ever interfaced with. Helen and her team run an amazing operation, and obviously you're doing great work, so thank you for coming tonight, Helen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other comments, Commissioner?
Yeah, thank you, Helen, for attending this evening and telling us all about this. I'm just surprised in these mini grants. I just think that they're awesome, all these little individual things going on, from Talons Out to Albion's Holland Park and refinishing the pool table downtown there at the center. It's so spread out that everybody gets a little bit of enjoyment out of all that. So thank you for your work.
Thank you. Richard Lindsay and Brad Wilcox came up with a mini grant. It's about $70,000 of flexible funds that we fund from 500 to 5,000 projects all around the county to help serve seniors who are 60 and over. And it's great. It's a great flexible program that's been able to really help projects across the finish line.
Helen, thank you very much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate the report and your annual report, and we'll see you on May 18th, 2023 from 9 to 1.
We expect you there. Thank you.
Ted, we have another presentation.
We do. Thank you, Mayor. Our Recreation Director, Duska Brum, is here with us this evening to update us on activities at Recreation. I'll turn it over to Duska.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Thank you for having us today. I am Duska Brum, the Recreation Director for the city, and this is Ron Osborne. He is our pro golf at Binder Park. You have the presentation in front of you. This is our staff. Usually we like to bring the staff here and have them talk about their individual programs. Unfortunately, springtime is our busy time. So Nicole Gilmore, our rec tech, she is actually at the building tonight. Nicodemus Fletcher, he is at Bailey Park with our adult softball games tonight. Jamie Wynn is at a training. Ryan Dingman is at a baseball program. And that leaves Ron and I to give the presentation. Our mission is basically to provide services for the healthy individual. We aim to focus on the healthy, active youth. So most of our programs are driven by the youth in our community. We do have a couple of adult ones, but mostly we are here for the youth. Flash Flood Water Park is one of our main programs. Every summer we open the water park. These are just some numbers in comparison. You can see we are getting back on our feet after COVID. Our individual visitor numbers was down a little bit, but you can see that our summer fun membership was way up. The summer fun passes, you can buy that at the beginning of the season, and you get unlimited access to our water park. So I think that offsets some of the numbers there. Employees, we've been lucky to this year have a full staff of customer service and lifeguards to open the park. We never had to shut down one time last year because of lack of staff, which the previous year we did have to. So we're doing a great job getting everything and keeping it up and running. Some of our staff there. Bailey Park is also one of our programs. We host tournaments almost every weekend. If you go by there in the evenings, most of our fields are busy at night. We have a lot of little leagues that rent our fields to practice on. We have adults, again, that have programs on Tuesdays and Sunday nights. Weekends, we rent them out to tournaments, and then during the week, we just have various rentals there. Willard Beach, this is one of the hidden gems of Battle Creek. If you look at the numbers, it is going crazy. I think people really are starting to use it, know where it's at. We've been so lucky to have a ranger out there that spends a lot of time. He donates a lot of his time also, but he keeps the park looking good. And with Todd Gerber and the DPW staff, They're always out there helping us trimming and mowing and picking up leaves, trees, all that good stuff. So we are lucky to have Willard Beach, and it shows the community enjoys that service also. Binder Park Golf Course, Ron?
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for having both of us. Thank you for having me to talk about the golf course tonight. On my way up, Duska told me I had 2 or 3 minutes to present. I thought originally she said I had 23 minutes to present, so I'll try to make it quick. Golf is in a great place right now. We are very fortunate since post-COVID that people wanted to get outside and enjoy themselves and play some golf. And golf has grown in the last 3 years. Our revenue at Binder Park has averaged over 18% over our last full year before COVID in 2019. So very fortunate to see the game grow. This last week during the crazy spring, summer thaw that we had, I was on staff all day behind the counter, just lack of staff. And I got to believe that 60% of our customers that day were under the age of 30. So to see all the young people coming out to play golf, enjoy themselves, and be committed to the game, we've seen that trend in the last 3 years, and it's been incredible for golf, incredible for Binder Park. In my couple of my slides, talking about, you can see up here, golf has grown from, in 2002, from 30 million golfers to 2022 to 41 million golfers, over 25% increase in that time. But as you can see on the slide, over 15 million of those customers are doing their golf experiences off course. And what I mean by off course is like a Top Golf, where you'll see these 3-tiered driving ranges, or a Top Tracer, or indoor golf simulators. So we're seeing golf being experienced in a lot of different ways. So with that being said, we are trying to keep up with the trend, and we now have 2 golf simulators that we have at Binder Park, and that also helps us grow the game. We use them for winter golf leagues, for corporate events, club fitting, golf lessons, high school golf team practices. So in essence, Binder Park is a year-round operation. So we not only have golf in the summer, the simulators, and also free to for no charge, we provide cross-country skiing when the conditions are good, snow sledding, and snowshoeing. So we've expanded the property to not only be there for 7 or 8 months, but to be year-round, and also to make it user-friendly for the community. So that's kind of in a nutshell. We're in a great place financially. And one last thing that I'd like to mention is in 2 more years, 2 more payments, the bond payment is done. So that means a lot to me. So
Thank you, Ron, and
yeah.
thank you, Duska. Are there any questions of the recreation staff? Yes, Patrick O'Donnell.
Yeah, I got to go out there when it was nice and warm last week. I'm glad you guys could squeeze me in, because I just needed to get out and swing a club. Not going to tell you what my score is, because I quit counting. No. Anyways, I really enjoy our Battle Creek Parks and Rec program. I reffed floor hockey for 28 years down there, and a lot of people don't remember me, except the other day I was in Panera, and there was a gentleman that recognized me and said, "You're that guy that put my kid in the penalty box once." So at least there's some, and he was happy. It was just those good memories of all that youth support that you do down there. I really thank you for that. And yeah, what a gem that we have out there at the golf course right now, as it's growing and getting the recreation out. So thank you very much.
Any other comments? Yes, Commissioner
Mr.
Smith.
Mayor. I'd just like to add, as the coach of not 1, not 2, but 3 youth soccer teams, I cannot tell you how impressed I am with the organization of the department. And every time I've had to reach out to somebody to get some information, even at the front desk at full blast, it's been fantastic. So send that along. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you. Yep. And just to wrap up, this is our future facility improvements here. On the left, we finally have our air conditioning project done. We were without it for numerous years, so that is up and going. We also have a water fill bottle station now in our building, and then you can see the pool. They are actually working on the bottom of that, right? Well, This week, they're a little not in there now, but last week they got quite a bit done. They'll be back at the end of the week and next week, so we should be ready to open. So this is some of the great things that we're doing in our department, too.
Thank you very much, Jessica. Thank you, Ron. Appreciate your presentations. Next item on our agenda is Chair noting any added or deleted resolutions.
There were none.
Thank you very much. Next item on our agenda is petitions, communications, and reports.
There were none.
Thank you very much. Next item is a public hearing. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
The 2023 project planning document for the City of Battle Creek wastewater treatment plant composting and odor improvement project follows the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy Clean Water State Revolving Fund Project Planning Document Guidance Manual. The CWSRF provides low-interest loans for qualifying communities. The city has submitted an intent to apply for fiscal year 2024. The funds will provide for beneficial reuse of all biosolids generated at the facility and allow several reuse options not previously available to the city. These include providing compost to the public at no cost, allowing farmers access to finished compost, and alternative daily cover for nearby landfills. This is a public hearing for the purpose of receiving public comment on a project planning document identifying the project needs and detailing the project cost to achieve regulatory requirements and community objectives regarding water quality.
Declare the public hearing open. If you'd like to make public comment on this subject and of this public hearing, then raise your hand and wait for us to acknowledge you, and then come forward to the podium where you'll have 3 minutes to make your comment. Please state your name and address before making the comment so that staff will be able to get back to you. And first up, I have a presentation by TJ Bates. TJ, are you here? Yes, please come forward.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me. My name is TJ Bates. I'm with Donahue & Associates. We're a water and wastewater firm that's been working with the City of Battle Creek for almost 10 years now, and we're here today to discuss our project planning document for wastewater treatment plant composting and odor improvements. What we're applying for is a loan through the Clean Water State Revolving Fund. This is an opportunity specifically designed for local wastewater facilities to apply for improvements, expansion, and otherwise repair of existing facilities. The loan will be administered by Eagle, and the reason that we're recommending the pursuit of this loan is twofold. First off, it comes with very low interest rates, historically around 2%. Secondly, it's an opportunity for principal forgiveness that we don't normally see in other loan applications. So in setting out to lay the groundwork for this project plan, we tried to set a list of reasonable goals, the first of which is to construct a viable solution for biosolids reuse at the facility. Previously known as sludge, we are trying to train the industry to address this as biosolids, a valuable material that can be reused and otherwise repurposed instead of landfilled as it frequently is. We also want to address limited biosolid storage capacity at the wastewater plant and improve existing infrastructure at the facility while also addressing plant-wide odor sources. In order to meet those goals, we picked 3 targets. The first would be composting of the biosolids, followed by improvement to existing dewatering and mixing systems, and finally odor control. These were run through a robust alternative review that includes optimizing existing systems, construction of new systems, do nothing, which is an Eagle requirement, although it's seldom selected, and regionalization of the facility. The overall project selected includes the addition of an access road, composting facilities, improved dewatering and mixing facilities, along with plant-wide odor controls. Digging farther into the plant improvements, we're recommending the construction of a composting facility on the north side of the plant. This will be supported by new dewatering and mixing facilities adjacent to that to centrally locate all of those processes together, and include a new access road on the east side of the plant to remove the heavy truck traffic that currently goes through the middle of the plant on a daily basis. On the odor control side of things, without getting into the specific details, we're focusing on the sources of the odors and addressing them at the source point. The city has previously completed 2 different odor control studies, identifying the sources and then also identifying the constituents within those odors. We'll be collecting those at the locations where they're generated and treating them through a combination of biofilters and carbon adsorbers. No project comes without a price tag, unfortunately. Before we get into the detail of what that is, I want to stress this is a preliminary high conservative estimate. Eagle recommends when applying for an SRF loan, apply early, apply often, and apply high. It is much easier to bring the price down later. It is very difficult to bring that price up. So what you see here, for the price tag of approximately $39 million, is the entire recommended project in one step. There are options to defer costs, revise this proposal as we move forward, but at this point, we're going to apply for the most money that we can get in hope that we get a favorable return on that. Because this also, of course, has an effect on the individual taxpayer, and we don't want to hide that information. What you see here represents approximately 50% debt forgiveness on the $39 million and the subsequent changes to rate users in the city of Battle Creek. Again, we are not asking for any approval of the numbers that you see before you right now. We are asking for a resolution that allows us to move forward with the application of this loan. Once we determine what loan eligibility the city would receive and what debt forgiveness you would be granted, we will revisit the project, refine our numbers, and develop a project that meets the city's objectives while also being within their budget. This project's main focus is an environmentally friendly reuse of the biosolids that are otherwise currently being landfilled. It's an upgrade to aged equipment that will require repair or replacement regardless. It aims to decrease odor sources around the plant and treat the odors before they enter the surrounding community, and better positions the plant for future growth and changes in regulatory compliance. Lastly, we will, as always, as a wastewater-focused firm, strive to continue to protect the environment, the receiving waters, and the waters in and around Battle Creek. Thank you.
TJ, thank you very much. I'm just going to check and make sure there are any questions from the commission. Commissioner, Vice Mayor.
Thank you. When do you expect to hear back from Eagle, assuming you put in the application? How long, what's their lag time?
Typically, they would say late summer. I more refer to it as early fall. We would expect to hopefully be back here in October, no later.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. What are the circumstances in which the principal forgiveness would kick in? Is it baked in? Is there some metric we need to meet?
It's a combination of different things. The first goes with the scoring of your application, which focuses on the need that the city has for these improvements. The second component of that, they consider an overburdened review. They look at the current debt, current operational expenses, the new debt that would be incurred by this loan, and then if you meet certain metrics, you get additional points in your scoring, and it helps better position you for debt forgiveness.
Do you have any idea when we would know if we would qualify for such a thing or a component of it?
It's very hard to estimate. Everyone listened to the apply early, apply often this year, and they've got more applications they've ever had before. Historically, we should find out in October, and I'm hopeful there will be debt forgiveness. There would be in a traditional year, and hopefully we'll see that again this year as well.
So just from my understanding, we'll know about the debt forgiveness prior to accepting the loan, or is this something that we could find out 8-10 years in?
No, everything will be an upfront process. You'll know the loan amount you're approved up to, what your debt forgiveness would be if you accept that loan, and then we'll adjust the project to meet those metrics.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Reynolds.
Thank you, Mayor. What would be the time frame of this project that you're referring to?
We would hope to break ground in late 2024. Bidding requirements usually have the project out on the streets mid-summer of 2024, and I would predict somewhere between a 2 to 3 year construction window.
Thank you.
Commissioner Simmons, do you have any questions? I take it that's a no.
I don't.
TJ, thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
I appreciate your memory on your presentation. You did a good job.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Let's see. We'll close, oh, no, excuse me. Are there any comments, public comments on this time, at this hearing? Yes, John.
John Kennevick, 234 South Avenue. In regards to this proposal, sounds pretty good, but I also remember a history of what went on with the waste treatment plant. They spent $3 million to create what's called a fuel pellet. And for the government of Battle Creek or the sewage treatment plant, it was a we can't lose proposition. It was a we can't win proposition for the citizens of Battle Creek who were paying the bills. Two things happened. First, they could not lose if the waste fuel pellet was successful, which it wasn't. If it was successful, they would have sold the fuel pellet at a profit, but it was the taxpayers and people that pay the water bills that actually funded that bill, so they received nothing if it was successful. It did fail at the tune of $3 million to the taxpayers of Battle Creek. While this was going on in this
Excuse me,
gentleman's...
John. Are you addressing the public hearing today?
I was addressing what he had said. Is this, I'm off on that part of it, or?
Well, we're having a public hearing relative to the information that has been advertised in the public hearing, and I ask you to stick to that if you could.
Well, I thought this was in regards to spending 30 whatever million dollars and the success rate, or the lack of success rate of the waste treatment plant, even though they profited and the citizens of Battle Creek did not. That was my point. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other public comments at this time? Seeing none, to declare the public hearing closed. Next item on our agenda is another public hearing. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
The City Commission, in accordance with Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended, and the Cranston-Gonzalez National Affordable Housing Act of 1990, is required to complete a plan detailing the activities using community development, block grant, and home investment partnership funds to meet the needs of low and moderate income persons. This is a public hearing for the purpose of hearing public comments on the draft 2023-24 Annual Action Plan and proposed budget for the city's 2023-24 Community Development, Block Grant, and Home Programs.
I declare the public hearing open. If you'd like to make a public comment on the subject of this public hearing, then please raise your hand and wait for us to acknowledge you, and then come forward to the podium where you'll have 3 minutes to make your comment. Please state your name and address before making your comment. Are there any comments on this public hearing? Are there any public comments on this public hearing? Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, you said this is strictly for that item right now, right?
It's, yes. Thank you very much. Seeing no public comments, are there any commission comments? Seeing none, we'll declare the public hearing closed. Next item on our agenda is introduction of ordinance 02-2023. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
In 2006, state enacted planning and zoning legislation was consolidated into the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act of 2006 as amended, which provides the framework for local units of government to plan for and regulate the development of land. The original City and Village Zoning Act was enacted in 1921, with the first City of Battle Creek zoning ordinance and zoning map being adopted in 1924. The most recent major update to the code was adopted in 2020. As staff has used the existing zoning code over the past year, there have been various sections identified as being unclear, unnecessary, overly restrictive, or warranted consideration for change for other reasons. The intent of these amendments is to correct and clarify language in the code and remove overly restricted language related to residential and commercial uses. If introduced, this ordinance will amend the zoning code for the City of Battle Creek. The Planning Commission has voted unanimously to recommend that the City Commission approve the proposed amendments.
Move to sorry. I move to approve proposed ordinance 03-2023.
Support.
Been moved and supported to approve, or excuse me, introduce proposed ordinance 03-2023. Are there any public comments at this time? Are there any public comments? Seeing none, would you please vote on the introduction of proposed ordinance 03-2023?
Commissioner Simmons?
Commissioner Simmons?
Yeah, I have the agenda on my
I have it now, thank you.
device here, but
We have it now.
you got it? Okay, it's just a little bit of a delay, sorry.
That's all right. The introduction of proposed ordinance 03-2023 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is 04-2023, another proposed ordinance. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
The city's current code allows for 20 hen licenses. This limitation was intended to allow staff to determine demand and to be able to evaluate conditions around issues. The city has now reached the maximum of 20 hen license issuances since the adoption of Chapter 608. Since there have been no issues with hen licenses, staff is recommending that the maximum number of hen licenses be increased to 50. If introduced, this ordinance will amend Section 30E3 of Chapter 608 Animals to increase the maximum number of hen licenses to 50.
I move for the introduction of the ordinance 04-2023.
Support.
So moved and supported to introduce ordinance 04-2023. Are there any public comments at this time? Yes, John.
John Kinnevic, 234 South Avenue. I was here when the original ordinance was introduced and approved.
Can we start the timer?
You don't have to, I can go on forever. Anyway, I brought a box of Kentucky Fried Chicken, and I was explaining the economic feasibility of growing your own vegetables and chickens. I was kind of disappointed that it was only 20 people that would be allowed permits for this. I think it should be greater than the 50, even though that is an improvement. There are costs that are involved here. It's $20 permit fee if you go with this today for every license. It is also $80 for a shed that houses the chickens and a fence that goes around it. I was kind of hoping that it'd be less because this is private property and this is somebody else's property, not the government's property. When the government steps in and does many of these things, it turns out to be sort of like the government is the middleman, and then they are subject to increases down the road and all kinds of other things that happen. I'm in favor of this. I just wish it was less restrictive to the people that are raising chickens. It requires self-independence, and that's a good thing in our society because they do not have to deal with going to the supermarket, which might even drop the prices of food down the road also. Thank you very much.
Are there any other public comments at this time? Seeing none, are there any commission comments? Commissioner O'Donnell.
I am very much enjoyed that this is getting increased to 50. I think it's a great way of families, if they want to do a project by having chickens in their yard, could have possibly, educational benefits for the future of veterinarians or raising farms. Something a little bit different to allow people just to be individuals, raise their own eggs if they feel comfortable having eggs or whatever chickens they like. So I'm very much supportive of this increase to 50.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Simmons, any comments?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I was involved in shepherding this ordinance back in 2018 when we reintroduced it. It failed in a previous commission, and then we reintroduced it, and I think it was more palatable for commissioners at that time to limit the number because we just didn't know, where some of the commissioners were a little uncomfortable with this ordinance and how it would play out in our neighborhoods. And I think in the 5 years since we we adopted this ordinance, that we've seen that there has been zero complaints. I myself have been one of the 20 that licenses that were issued, and I operate our little chicken farm in our neighborhood very harmoniously with our neighbors. I share our eggs with our neighbors. I have a couple of, won't name names, but I have a couple of fellow commissioners who actually are egg customers from the Simmons Urban Farm. Yes, I would, Mr. Kennefick's comments about having an unlimited, I would be supportive of that, but 50 I think is a good compromise, because we've reached the limit on the 20, and let's just extend it for any others. I had an opportunity a few weeks back to go into Battle Creek Central High School and speak to their some of their classes about urban farming, urban chickens, and I'll tell you what, the students that were in those classes were so attentive to what we had to say. Many of them live in areas where we hear the terms thrown around, food deserts. They don't have access to fresh food. And, you know, with most recently with the inflationary pressures that we have at the grocery store, and even with the eggs, for a period of time, the eggs were $4 and $5 a dozen, to let our residents be self-sufficient and raise their own food, whether it be growing vegetables or raising chickens for eggs, I think is a great thing. Very supportive of this, and I encourage my fellow commissioners to join me in supporting the introduction of this ordinance. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commission comments at this time? Seeing none, would you please vote on the introduction of 04-2023?
Commissioner Sophia?
No.
Thank you.
The introduction of proposed ordinance 04-2023 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is public comments regarding consent agenda and resolutions not on the consent agenda. If you'd like to make public comment regarding the consent agenda and resolutions not on the consent agenda, please raise your hand and we will acknowledge you to come forward to the podium. You will have 3 minutes to make your comments. Please state your name and address before making your comments so that we may get back to you in the event that we have updated information. Are there any public comments regarding consent agenda and resolutions not on the consent agenda? Yes, sir.
Good evening. Thank you for having me and the opportunity to speak. My name is Joey Kedgbu. My address is 803 West Big Beaver, Suite 202, Troy, Michigan, 48084. Mr. Mayor, if I may, being that I'm representing one of these as their counsel, could I have 2 extra minutes above the 3 minutes?
Absolutely not.
Okay. I'm here on behalf of the property owner for 492 Capitol Avenue. They are seeking a special use permit for the adult use marijuana retail permit. Last month we came before the Planning Commission, and at the Planning Commission hearing we were at a stalemate of 3-3. The Planning Commission took issue with the fact that this property hasn't been developed over the last 3 or 4 years that my clients own the property. My client's at a point where they have a lease in place, a binding lease with an active operator for a marijuana facility in the city of Battle Creek. Another operator who's been operating for approximately 3 years. They completely renovated their property that they're currently at. They're looking to expand their market presence with another location. They have all Battle Creek employees. They've contributed to the local economy for the last 3 years, and they just want to add another space with additional square footage above and beyond their existing location. My client is ready to go. They've got building plans completed. They've redone their engineering plans. This is an 11,000 square foot building that is completely vacant at this point on the commercial road of Capitol Avenue. They're looking to only utilize 3,000 square feet of this space for the marijuana facility while white boxing the additional 7,000 square feet and offering other tenants the opportunity to come in. The property checks all the boxes in terms of the special use permit application process. The planning director's report that was provided to the Planning Commission stressed that every prong of the special use permit application was met. It meets all of the buffer requirements, it meets all of the marijuana requirements, and there's really nothing that should prevent this property from being approved. The one thing the Planning Commission did discuss and debate during their deliberations was implementing a time limit for our construction to complete this project as part of any approval. They suggested the idea of 12 months at that meeting. What I'm here to say is we would gladly accept that 12-month time limit. It would put the city in a position where if we come back and we haven't done these improvements, the city can simply point to today's hearing, say that we didn't meet our requirements, we were well aware of these conditions, and deny us any future applications. On the flip side, an approval today would result in the city giving us the opportunity to develop 11,000 square feet, pay licensing fees, 7,000 square feet of additional retail space for other prospective businesses, and introduce another location for an existing operator that has a proven track record within the city. We're simply looking for an opportunity to have one last chance to develop this. Between the delays that have resulted from COVID and just economic hard times, we want the ability to participate in the market in Battle Creek, and we'd respectfully request that you approve the special use permit application. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Councilor. Thank you. Any other public comments at this time?
Do I need to do anything here?
No, it'll take care of itself. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Christopher Amori, 7 West Square Lake Road, Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, 48320. I am counsel for HOS Investments. We are also requesting approval of the special land use at 492 Capitol. We are looking to expand our presence in Battle Creek. We do have Battle Creek employees. We've been a valuable member of this community. We are looking to expand the number of employees that we're hiring. We're looking to expand our presence in the area. And like I said, we're looking for that opportunity, to join this market. The only thing really holding us back at this point is the special land use. And once we have approval, we are ready and willing to go forward. I was here at the last meeting, and we did speak to contingencies after 12 months, and we do agree that they're agreeable, and there were members of that panel, of the Planning Commission that were agreeable to that as well. So like I said, we were just looking for just approval of the special land use, and like I said, the opportunity to proceed with our project.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Any other public comments at this time? Yes, sir.
Thank you guys for allowing me the chance to speak. My name is Terrell Moulton. I'm a tenant of the North Branch facility off of Main Street, behind Main Street Market. The conditions that we live in over there are horrible. There are other tenants here in the crowd that have the same, if not worse, situations as I do. I'm not sure if you were able to see the post that I made on Facebook today, but I tagged a number of people in it. I tagged the page that I found for you specifically. Judge Bomia has deemed the property livable. I have pictures in my phone, if I'm able to show you guys, of just some of the conditions that my family have been going through over the last 6 months. I know families who went the whole winter without heat, stoves, things not getting fixed. My toilet has been running on my floor for over the last week.
Okay, are you talking to one of the resolutions?
No, I don't know how this works, so
Okay, well, you're making a public comment about a concern you have.
about,
Right.
not that, it's something.
Okay, so that has to be at the end of the meeting.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Are there any other public comments at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to Commissioner Whoop, you got one more? Yes, John.
John Kennefic, 230, oh, got to reset the clock. Thank you. John Kennefic, 234 South Avenue. I'm going to speak in regards to Resolution 119. It's not the repair of the, in regards to the Federal Aviation Administration out at the airport, it's the ARP money that's being used to fund that project. Basically, ARP money, American Rescue Plan Act, goes over the entire United States. And there are only two basic kind of sources where that money comes from. The first is from the taxpayer if it makes it to Washington, and then it's redistributed all over the United States. If the money's not there, it goes to the national debt. The national debt at this time is 31 trillion, almost $700 billion, which means any tax-paying citizen out there that can hear my voice knows they owe back just to the national debt just short of $250,000 and accelerating. I wish there was a little bit more financial budgeting in regards to placing the rest of the citizens deeper and deeper in debt. It's a great idea, and we may say to ourselves, oh, look, we're getting something at no charge, but there's always a cost. And the cost also comes at us from different directions, many times unseen. So I'm just concerned that we're just spending money that may not exist. And one final thing, I was at Menards, and they gave me some brand new $1 bills, and the lady said to me, gosh, you know, these are brand new. They're kind of sticking together, and they were printed in 2017, 6 years ago. So it's just kind of interesting how things are getting more economically challenged. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any other public comments at this time? Seeing none, we'll go on to commission comment regarding meeting business.
I move for the approval of the consent agenda.
Support.
Been moved and supported to approve the consent agenda. Are there any comments by the commission? Questions, clarifications? Seeing none, would you please vote on the consent agenda? The consent agenda has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 116. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
The petitioner, Thanos LLC, is requesting a special use permit for an adult use marijuana retail establishment in a T3 neighborhood commercial district for the property located at 492 Southwest Capitol Avenue. At the March 22, 2023 Planning Commission meeting, the Planning Commission reviewed the request under the special use permit criteria outlined in Section 1281.05 of the zoning code, and by a 3-3 vote did not recommend approval of the request. Findings and considerations set forth in the staff report to the Planning Commission and included with this resolution support a recommendation to approve the petition for a special use permit. If approved, this resolution authorizes the issuance of a special use permit to allow for an adult use marijuana retail establishment located at 492 Southwest Capitol Avenue.
I move for the approval of Resolution 116.
Support.
Been moved and supported to approve Resolution 116. Are there any comments, clarifications, or questions by the commission?
I just have one question.
Yes, Commissioner Lance.
I just see that it was voted as 3-3. I looked at the packet, I just didn't see any minutes, and I have no clue what the discussion was. So I'm going to abstain from voting on this because I'd like to see the whole thing.
Okay. Commissioner O'Donnell.
I am on the Planning Commission, and that vote took place. And I don't know if this will help with, but some of the discussion that was taking place was that it was not built up from the first time it had its license approved for the medical part, and they were applying for a recreational use. And during the discussion, I mentioned there was a timeline that was put onto it, if I remember right, and I was all for the timeline. I'd said a couple questions about that timeline. The timeline was that if they did not do any sales within 12 months, that their license would be revoked, not built and ready to go like other marijuana facilities had. And that was agreed upon in there. I just wanted to make sure if that was legal still, if we pass this, if that's part of the agreement, or how does that work? If anybody has an answer to that question. I have a couple others, but.
I would suggest getting some information from Marcy Gillette or someone from her team, because I or maybe Marcel can help, because Marcel goes to the Planning Commission meetings.
Yeah, Mayor, if it would be helpful, if it would be helpful for Commissioner Lance as well, I think that planning staff can provide some insight into the conversation at the Planning Commission. And I believe that Commissioner O'Donnell's is actually referencing a condition that was considered by the Planning Commission, so I think planning staff can help answer those questions as well.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to first introduce you to Darcy Schmidt. She's the Planning and Zoning Supervisor, new to the organization. So certainly Darcy can help speak to some of those things. With regard to the draft minutes, there were 8 attachments, but that draft minute was not one of them.
Yes.
There is a notation under the position of the body of the resolution that does speak to the 2 points of discussion for those that were in opposition. So the first item was that the request does not meet the special permit standards of item F under section 128105, that it would be detrimental to the economic welfare of the community. And the second item for point of discussion for the no vote was condition number 9 allows the applicant a year to have the business operational or the special use permit will expire. It also includes the option for a 6-month extension. This timeline was felt that it was too long considering the approval for the previous special use permit expired from the applicant because construction had not commenced for that, and that was specific to the medical marijuana special use that had been previously approved. So those were the 2 items for points of discussion that would be represented in the draft minutes.
Any other questions of Marcy?
So what I'm wondering is that if we approve this, are those conditions on there still that the company would have to be selling product within 12 months? That's what I remember we discussed at the Planning Commission.
They would also have the opportunity to have a 6-month extension. They would have to apply for that, I think 90
I believe
days.
that was taken off the table when we were discussing that, and I did approve of that, because I don't think it's fair to put extra restrictions on somebody because they tried and they were unable to get the building up to code due to the fact that it is hard to find construction. Even me personally, some of the stuff that I'm just trying to do in my home is very difficult to find somebody, and now I'm 5 months out before I can even have somebody put a nail in the wall. So that was my point at the Planning Commission, was I don't believe that this applicant should be penalized due to the fact of the economic areas, but I also do believe we need to hold them to some type of standard to be ready to go in the 12-month time frame, just like all other businesses. And that was what really was discussed that day.
So condition number 9 does specify that it would be within that 12-month period. However, they would be allowed within 60 days,
It was a 10-month, I think. They had to say within 10 months.
Within 60 days of that expiration.
They couldn't make the 12-month period, yes.
And the feeling was by the one commissioner that voted no, specific to the time frame, was that he felt that the period of time listed under that condition was too long.
Yes, I remember that. So I just wanted to make sure that they got to stay within the same framework that we provide all of our other applicants, is what I'm looking for if we approve this. That's correct then? There's no exemptions or changes to it then? Just wanted to make sure. Okay. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commission questions? Commissioner Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is just a comment. We bend over backwards to get businesses to come to this community, as many others do. We spend a lot of money on economic development to get businesses to open, and we have one sitting here in front of us that's checked all the boxes as far as I can tell. Standard F is subjective. Standard 9, it sounds like one member of the zoning commission had an issue with. But it sounds like we have a workaround for that, and I'd encourage my colleagues to support this so we can get a move on and get some more business here in our town.
Thank you, Commissioner. Are there any other comments at this time? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 116?
Commissioner Lance, are you completed?
I voted.
Resolution 116 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 117.
The petitioner is requesting a special use permit to allow for a trash enclosure in addition to an existing gas station convenience store owned by Meyer, Inc. in a B1 corridor commercial district on the parcel located at 2217 West Columbia Avenue, as permitted by special use under the Planning and Zoning Ordinance, Section 1281.05 of the Zoning Code. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on this matter at their meeting on March 22, 2023, and after due consideration recommended that the Battle Creek City Commission approve the petition for the special use permit based upon the findings and conditions set forth in the attached report of the Planning Commission. If approved, this resolution authorizes the issuance of a special use permit to allow for a trash enclosure and in addition to a gas station convenience store at 2217 West Columbia Avenue.
Move for the approval of Resolution 117.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve Resolution 117. Are there any comments by the commission, questions, or clarifications? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 117? Resolution 117 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 118.
The Planning Commission has reviewed the petition from Pierre Robertson of EACOM Technical Services on behalf of Pastor Chris McCoy, New Level Sports Ministries, requesting a special use permit to allow a child care center in the T4 Downtown Commercial District at 410 West Van Buren Street, as permitted by special use under Section 1281.05 of the Zoning Code. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on this matter at its March 22, 2023 meeting, and after due consideration recommended that the Battle Creek City Commission approve the petition for a special use permit based upon the findings and conditions set forth in the attached report of the Planning Commission. If approved, this resolution authorizes the issuance of a special use permit to allow for a new child care center at 410 West Van Buren Street in a T4 Downtown Commercial District.
I move for the approval of Resolution 118.
Support.
Been moved and supported to approve Resolution 118. Any comments, questions, or clarifications by the commission? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 118? Resolution 118 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 119.
The Michigan Department of Transportation, acting as a Federal Aviation Administration Block Grant Program participant, has funding from the FAA as part of an airport rescue grant. The Battle Creek Executive Airport at Kellogg Field has been allocated $59,000 under this block grant program, with all the $59,000 intended to be used for airport employee payroll. If approved, this resolution authorizes the city manager to accept American Rescue Plan Act Grant Number 3-26-SBGP-132-2022 from MDOT, acting as an FAA Block Grant Program participant.
I move for the approval of Resolution 119.
Support.
Been moved and supported to approve Resolution 119. Any comments, questions, or clarifications by the commission? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 119? Resolution 119 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 120.
In the summer of 2022, the city became concerned with the conditions of the well casings at Verona Wellfield and had all wells inspected by camera to determine their condition. The city self-reported potential violations, and on December 20th, 2022, the city received a significant deficiency violation notice from the Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy. From that point, the city had 120 days to correct the deficiencies or enter into an administrative consent order with EGLE, an agreement between the city and the state of Michigan that defines the process the city will take to correct the significant deficiencies. Due to the nature of the repairs, the work required to correct the significant deficiencies would exceed the 120-day time frame. Therefore, the city is pursuing an administrative consent order. The city has worked closely with EGLE to draft the administrative consent order. The attached final document of the ACO has been reviewed by an outside counsel of Michael L. Caldwell of Zosmer, as well as the Verona Wellfield Group and NSAFE, who operate the Verona Wellfield remediation. If approved, the resolution authorizes the city manager to execute the administrative consent order between the city of Battle Creek and the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy.
Move for the approval of Resolution 120.
Support.
Been moved and supported to approve Resolution 120. Are there any comments, questions, or clarifications by the commission? Seeing none, would you please vote on 120? Resolution 120 has been approved. A final resolution of the evening, Resolution 121. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
The City of Battle Creek recognizes the need to make improvements to existing wastewater treatment biosolid disposable process and odor control system. The city authorized Donahue and Associates, Inc. to prepare a project planning document which recommends the construction of a new biosolids composting facility and upgrades to the existing odor control system. This project planning document was presented at a public hearing on Tuesday, April 18th, 2023. If approved, this resolution adopts a final project planning document for biosolids composting and odor control and designates an authorized project representative.
Move for the adoption of Resolution 121.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve Resolution 121. Are there any comments, questions, or clarifications by the commission? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 121? Resolution 121 has been approved. We'll next move to our general public comment. I'm going to call the gentleman, because your kids have been so good, to come forward. Thank you very much. If you'd like to make general public comment regarding matters over which the City Commission has control, please raise your hand and we wait for us to acknowledge you, and then come forward to the podium. You'll have 3 minutes to make your comment. Please state your name and address prior to beginning your comment. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you again for letting me come up and speak. Once again, I live at the North Branch facility, right behind where Main Street Market used to be, 231 Taft. Over the last 6 months, we've been going to court with them about this facility. The conditions are unlivable and some of them are outrageous. I know people who have went the whole winter without having furnaces and stoves. I myself and my family went the last 3 months of winter and the last 3 snowstorms without having a furnace. We heated our house up with our stove, which the oven broke, and they still have not fixed that. Over the last few months, we've been going to court with them First judge, she told us that we did everything correctly. We tried to put the money in the escrow account. They told us that we needed an escrow agent and then amongst a slew of other things that we needed, so we couldn't do that, but we had the money held. Second court date, we go back and Judge Bomia takes over. They somehow, I don't know if they got the judge changed or what, but Judge Bomia agreed with them. He told us that we had to pay them $4,100, and I think it was $57. The original amount that they took us to court for was about $2,600. I have a few other tenants here with me, and I have messages and pictures and videos from other tenants that could not make it and used to live there as well. There's a post going around on Facebook that people are commenting on, and they're posting videos up of when they used to live there or their family members. These people are not fixing anything. As I said before, Judge Bomia said that these conditions were livable. I went to the courthouse to speak with him directly. His secretary told me I could not speak with him. I called Code Compliance. Code Compliance told me there was nothing that they could do because the court system was involved. Recently, my son died, and I asked them for a little time to bury my son. They told us no. So at this point, I'm waiting on the sheriffs. Excuse me. I'm waiting on the sheriffs to knock on my door at any moment now. And I don't know what to do at this point. I have pictures, I have videos of what's currently going on in my house. Like I said, there's other tenants here. I have messages and pictures and videos and stuff from other tenants that used to live there and that currently live there. And we don't know what to do because we call people and they tell us there's nothing they can do. And I was asked to come here and speak to you guys.
First of all, I'm very sorry.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask our code compliance to do something. I'll work through the city manager's office. No one should be forced to live in conditions like that.
Thank you.
I applaud you for adhering to the judge's orders. We are not above the judge, so
I understand.
it's a difficult situation. So I sympathize with you right now. I'll ask them to do what they can do. If there are violations in that apartment that need to be corrected, I think we have some abilities to help you out, but I may stand to be corrected.
I understand. I'm just trying to figure out what our options are because any day now I could be just thrown out.
And we're going to have to work through our system here, and we will be in contact with you.
Okay.
Mayor.
Thank you very much.
Mayor, perhaps I could connect with you, with this individual after the meeting is over, and we'll see if we can't maybe find a path forward.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Are there any other public comments? Yes, ma'am.
Hello, I am Dr. Nakia Bayless, Executive Director of the Village Network of Battle Creek. We have an office at 400 West Michigan. First, I'd like to thank our city leadership for coordinating and continuing to coordinate opportunities for local leaders of impacted organizations and service populations to meet with the developer interested in developing permanent supportive housing in Battle Creek. We reached out to the city after receiving multiple concerned phone calls from residents that we serve. And last Wednesday, a large group of BIPOC leaders learned more details about the proposed development that was initially focused on the Baymont Hotel, which shares a parking lot with the Urban League. Many of us expressed our explicit support for significantly more permanent supportive housing units across our city, while also expressing the concerns of our organizations and the residents we serve. We also shared our desire for a formal process that ensures our inclusion on behalf of the residents we serve in all urban development projects in Battle Creek. Having not seen a resolution being put before the Commission this evening that creates a policy for such inclusion, we have opted to make the same request tonight during this public comment time of the agenda because we recognize the importance and the urgency to meet MSHDA and other funding deadlines to access significant resources to support housing in Battle Creek and the harm that delays cause, as we're hearing tonight. To reconcile what seems to be a reoccurring experience around development in or impacting our communities of color and other marginalized residents, we'd like to request our city
to take the lead in drafting and ratifying a resolution that supports inclusion at the beginning and throughout the development process. This will allow us to lift resident voice into every project and be effective allies in attracting resources and innovation into Battle Creek. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor, and I'm sure that our city manager will be responding to you and updating you, all right? Thank you.
You've been great. Thank you.
Are there any other public comments? Yes, ma'am.
My input on to the North Branch Apartments. I also live there as a tenant. I've been there 4 years, and they just recently bought the apartments, the new management. They've been trying to fix things, but it's like it's not, they're not doing it in a timely fashion. There's still roaches. You shouldn't have roaches in your refrigerator, and they're not doing nothing about it. My ceiling has caved in before new management came into, the new management came in, and they haven't fixed it. The old management before them, all they did was put drywall up. They never caulked it or anything, and they know about this, and I've told them, and they never even came and fixed that. There's multiple different things, like the carpet needs to be redid. There's just certain things that they're not doing, and it's really like, it's really, like he said, it's not livable at all. And I don't understand how they have different prices for rent for different apartments when it's supposed to be, the same amount for every apartment, no matter if it's a 1 or 2 bedroom. Even if you get Section 8, you should still be fixing those apartments.
Right.
And I also don't understand how, if you're on Section 8, you can't get an apartment that's new, but you're still getting charged the same amount almost.
Okay. Our city manager will be more than willing to talk to you after the meeting.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm very sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Carla Knox Williams, and I live also at North Branch Apartments. My apartment building and quite a few others have failed inspections for our fire extinguishers, the doors, safety. Like she has said, like the other owners, they did a little bit more, but also people were getting hurt. People's floors collapsing, ceilings collapsing. Some people have lost their pets due to the fact that no air conditioning was available. And they let a lot of things go and people are getting hurt and your hope just turns and they're not taking care of the property. And as them not taking care of the property, I ended up falling and having a concussion. And I am still dealing with that. And they didn't say anything, they didn't do anything, and I took videos and I have pictures of how long it took for them to just remove the situation. And there's still big piles of glass on the other side of the building. They have not, people are, like they said, having a lot of different, let's say, non-paying residents, as in insects and also things, rodents and stuff like that. There are people that care about that complex and they try their best, but a lot of people are getting scared because they are getting threatened with eviction and stuff like that, and they're trying their hardest to do the right thing, okay? Thank you.
I appreciate your time. Any other public comments at this time? Yes, sir.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jerry Steiner. I live at 115 South 26th Street. And usually when I come before you, I have a comment or a concern. And it's no different tonight. I feel for the Moten family and every other family that's in that situation. And I hope that you folks can help them out. Maybe the community can get together and maybe we can try to find some way to help somebody who really needs it. Now, my main concern tonight, I have a few people I'd like to thank, and they deserve this. I'd like to thank the city clerk and her staff. I'd like the city manager, and I can't leave out Mayor Binky. Listen, y'all, you know that little ice storm we had that had everything all in confusion? Well, I didn't call the city. I called the mayor. He was on vacation with his wife, and I didn't notice at the time. But about a half hour later, one of his staff called me and asked me what the problem was. And I said, well, one of the city's trees has fell in my yard, a big one too. The city guys came out, and one of the guys' name, I got his name, was James. Real professional guys. Told me they couldn't come back right away, but they'd get me. Called me before, told me when he was coming. He was there. He took the tree down, asked me if I needed anything else, and I told him if I did, I'd call the mayor. But anyway, y'all, when I think about some of the things that society has to face today, I think we never get through them unless we come together. And y'all know, I've been before you before, and I spoke before, and my concern has always been for somebody other than myself. It don't cost me nothing, y'all, to tell each and every one of you in here that I care about you. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't be standing before you. But that's neither beside the point. What I want you to understand is that we're in a dark time. And I had an opportunity a couple of months ago to go to a meeting with the intern chief of police, Mayor Binky, Commissioner Reynolds, Commissioner Morris, and I believe a few more commissioners were there. And they were mainly concerned with what was going to happen in the future. And when they introduced the intern police chief, Mr. Bagley, I thought I was in the Twilight Zone, y'all. I'd never been in a room with so many police that didn't have anything against Jerry Steiner. You know? So it was refreshing. And I had to tell my better half, or should I say my woman, hold on now. I didn't step off into the chauvinistic zone when I said my woman, did I? Because I don't want to be out here on the limb, especially with these girls. But anyway, to make a long story short, and I've never been able to do that, I would appreciate if y'all look out for the people less fortunate. Because believe me, before you leave this earth, you're going to need somebody to look out for you. Hey, y'all. Peace.
Thank you, Mr. Steiner. We appreciate your comments. Any other public comments at this time? Yes, Reverend Monique French, and also Calhoun County Commissioner from District 2, I believe.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mayor, for allowing me this opportunity to speak. My name is Monique French. I'm the pastor and director of Washington Heights United Methodist Church. Also, I am a county commissioner for District 2. I just wanted to take this opportunity to echo the sentiments that have been expressed to the people who are living in a deplorable situation. I want to commend the assistant manager, Ted, for reaching out and having an opportunity to talk with them afterwards. But this just goes to support the issue that we have been pushing for about providing mixed housing options. This is a prime example why we need that. We need people who are going to be responsible to see those things through. I also want to offer my support for Dr. Bayless when she stood before you and she encouraged that we be included in those conversations so that our voices can be heard about things that are occurring in our community. I also want to make this announcement that this is Minority Health Month, and we will be having a Minority Health Fair in Washington Heights this Saturday. I believe it begins at 11 a.m., from 11 to 1 a.m. And I want to thank Chief Bagley for your support. I want to thank the commissioners for their support, and also I want to bring a concern to you on behalf of the residents in the Washington Heights area. And I spoke with Commissioner Morris that there have been a lot of complaints coming into the church about some of the things that have been occurring in the Washington Heights neighborhood, about the speeding up and down the street, how they've been turned into a dragway when they get a little dark, and just some of the things that have been occurring. So I just wanted to express my concern on behalf of the citizens in the Washington Heights area. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor, very much. Are there any other public comments at this time? Seeing none, commission comments? Commissioner O'Donnell and then Commissioner Morris.
I want to say thank you for coming to tell me about what's going on over there in the neighborhood. When I was young, 3-year-old, I grew up in that part of the neighborhood there. It was a big apartment complex. It does break my heart that it's gone way downhill since when I was there in 1970. And I grieve for you of loss of your son, so I really do. There's no other words to say, just that we want to try to get as much help for you all as possible. There's no reason that we should be living this way in these times, and get the support that you need. So thank you, Assistant City Manager, for taking care of them afterwards. One other thing, it was a great celebration earlier with Bobby Holly, and Bobby, thank you for all of your support all these years. And I just want to say that's about the closest I've ever came to seeing the key to the city. So it was kind of exciting. So you earned all that. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Morris?
Thank you, Mayor. This is on behalf of the Market Advisory Committee. They wanted to share that the BC Farmers Market season starts Wednesday, May 17th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And they will also be hosting several Monday evening markets and Friday night events through the season. Check them out on Facebook at Battle Creek Farmers Market. And each week, they will have activities, music, and food vendors. The market accepts EBT cards, Double Up food bucks, WIC, and Senior Fresh. And in addition to that, I just wanted to speak on Ward 2 and some of the issues that we're facing in Washington Heights. I'm glad that residents have been expressing those concerns, and I'm looking forward to working with city staff to put some things into place to keep our community safe. We've been adding a lot of amenities to that area to make it somewhere where people will want to live and somewhere where people will want to play, so we want to make it safe as well.
Thank you, Commissioner Morris. Any other comments at this time? Seeing none, we'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you very much for attending. Appreciate your participation.